I'm just going to do another quick video on gold, silver, that stuff. Gold's about to break 5,000. Silver just broke 100. Big thing with gold, I keep trying to tell people, is the gold that the government has in its possession is valued at $42 or $44.22. That has not been revalued since 1971. Speculation is the government could revalue that the same way they did back in 1931 when they took gold from everybody, basically made it illegal to use as tender, told everybody to turn their gold in. They gave them $25 an ounce for it. Right after they did that and they confiscated it all, they turned around and said, well, now it's valued at $35 an ounce. Speculators are saying that could be revalued. Like I said, right about 5,000 today. It should break $5,000 by the end of the day. That could be revalued 15, 20, 25. They could revalue that. Sky's the limit. It's not physically attached to the dollar bill, although there's speculation they're going to try to return to that standard to settle some of their debts. If they revalued that and decided to print a bunch of money to pay off their current liabilities and deficits, it would create massive inflation, even if it got rid of the debt. The only way to get out of the debt cycle they're in now would be to keep GDP above 25%. I mean, you'd really have to keep the economy cranking. Also kind of difficult because of the fact that while the economy seems to be doing well, there's definitely a lot of people struggling. A lot of people are starting to get laid off. A lot of people are losing jobs. Silver part. So they keep saying it's a bubble, but it's not really. If you go back in history, I was talking about buying paper tickets for silver. So a lot of banks are actually in trouble. So as silver goes up, the banks are going to be in trouble because a lot of banks are holding certificates for silver. So let's say you are a crooked salesman and I can sell you something that you're going to buy. I'm going to keep possession of. I'm going to give you a piece of paper that says I have it. Well, I could sell a lot of those pieces of paper to people and figure, well, when the price drops, I can start buying them. Well, you can get in really quick and start selling stuff that doesn't actually exist to people. There's been a lot of speculation for years that they've been selling way more silver than physically exists. So right now there's a shortage of silver. It's kind of a byproduct of other metals. So people are starting to hoard it. It's becoming very, very scarce, which is going to cause the price to go up, not necessarily just because of being scarce, but because it's utilized in everything. It's utilized in government weapons, it's utilized in electronics, solar, cars. They're talking about batteries that are going to start using silver. So if you have silver, hold on to it. Don't sell it. Everybody's going to tell you it's a bubble. Hold on to it. Your physical paper or paper dollars are going to be useless. Like I said, banks are in trouble. There's reports, people saying that they're trying to do wire transfers, because when you buy gold or silver, you can't just send them a check. You can't give them a card over the phone. You got to do a bank transfer. Well, they're rejecting those, saying that they're fraudulent. They suspect fraud, so they're not going to give you the money to buy it. It's kind of also, they're trying to protect their own assets because of the fact that if they let everybody do this and they don't have enough to cover it, they're going to be the ones shorted. They're also giving money away to purchase the same thing that's going to run the banks out of business. So banks could start failing over this. Kind of a big deal. Pay attention. I know it sounds strange. I'm one of those people. I read a lot. I believe a lot of the things I didn't used to believe, but it's starting to, everything makes more and more sense. So, like I said, silver just crossed 100. Every time it reaches a threshold, even with cryptocurrencies, they get to a certain point, they reach a threshold like they're going to take off. A lot of times they'll dip. People get in there, speculate, well, I just made 10%, 20%, and then they dump it, which can cause the price to go down, but it will continue to go up. They're having trouble fulfilling orders. Bitcoin was a big deal for a while. You know, it reached 5,000. 10,000, I think it got up to like 30,000. Everybody's like, oh, it's a bubble. It did go back down. Well, guess what? Now, I haven't checked lately. I think it's still closer to 80-something thousand. And then Dogecoin was like the poor man's cryptocurrency. That shot up, came back down. It's still way higher than it used to be. So gold is nice to have. Silver is going to be your asset for your tender if that comes down to that situation. So have some gold on hand, have some silver on hand if you can get it. If you have it, don't get rid of it. just keep going with it. Let it go. Theoretically, it should be closer to 1/10 to 1/15 the price of gold. So just figure right now, if it got to be a tenth, you're talking almost $500 an ounce. It reached 100. It's gone up what? 50, 100%. I forget what it was at the beginning. I think beginning of 2025, it was right around $30 an ounce. I had told everybody, well, I didn't tell. I had it in a story on my Facebook 3 years ago for everybody to buy silver. I think it was $22 an ounce at the time, or $21 an ounce. So if you caught that and you bought some, good job. If you didn't, if you can still find some, it's going to get real scarce real quick. People are trying to go to everything they can, even junk silver, plates, dinnerware, all that stuff people are trying to look at. That stuff's not really worth much because it takes so much refining to get the silver out at this point. It's still not actually going to be worth it for that. So people probably might not give you much for it. If you go somewhere to try to sell it, you'll be lucky. Depending on where you go, they might give you 50%, 75% of the current value. And then they're going to turn around and sell for more than that. The U.S. Mint selling, or has their silver listed online. I think it's $149 an ounce since they shut it down, and then they opened it back up, and they raised the price way up, trying to figure out where it's going to settle. Well, if that's kind of where they're at, there's a good chance it'll go up another $50 at least. My speculation is the next year it might hit $200. I did say gold was going to hit $5,000. I thought by the end of November. So I'm a little off, but then again, I don't have control of everything. Finances are like a tree. Every branch has a different aspect, and every leaf has a different aspect on top of that. So if anybody ever tells you they understand finances, they're probably full of crap, because I've been studying finances, and there are so many webs and directions that everything goes and is intermingled and tied to everything in the world that it's pretty much impossible to keep an eye on that. But watch your patterns. Try to keep up with what's going on. Just watch. And like I said, don't always expect somebody's going to tell you the truth with the bubble thing. Like I said in my first video that I posted, they said the housing market was fine back in the 2000s. And anybody with a half a brain could look at that and be like, this is not going to continue to work. And the people who called it were called crazy, and sure enough, it crashed. So we could be heading for a dollar crash. They could be trying to replace it with something. They might try to ban gold and silver at some point and try to give everybody on the central bank digital currency. A lot of countries are trying to push for that now. It's all controllable, despite what you think about it. So anyway, have a good day.